they will feel like a victim. And life has wronged them. The company has wronged them, the economy has wronged them, the world has wronged them, life is unfair. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Maya, and not only do I help you heal from your past trauma, but I also help you build and experience the life that you so deeply deserve and can have. So today I want to talk about this saying, this expression, what you might have heard pretty often, maybe you've even said it yourself, and that is, life is unfair, or life is so unfair. And so now this is a very interesting sentence, and just listening to it, it makes me feel a little bit sad, it gives me a bit of a queasy feeling in my stomach. There's a tension in my stomach. I can feel a little tightening there. Life is unfair. It makes me feel smaller. I actually feel like sinking down a little bit and just looking down. And so this is part of just recognizing what effect words can have on us. Because when we say things, they don't just fly off into the universe never to be seen again, but they actually have an energy. And this energy is something that we feel, maybe not on a conscious level unless we make it conscious, like I was just doing. And otherwise, other people can feel this as well. Again, maybe not on a conscious level, but there is this energetic aspect to words. Everything is energy. As you might already know from quantum physics, if you go and check out the quantum physics movie called What the Bleep Do We Know? It's on YouTube and it's fantastic. Especially the double slit experiment, I recommend. I think it might be around the 25-minute mark, but I'm not sure. Okay, so let's come back to what we were actually talking about today, which is the sentence, life is unfair. My face also feels a little bit like tense and a little bit squishy and contracted. I think contracted is most accurate. My whole body just feels a little bit discombobulated and just, you know, like it just kind of wants to shake that off, shake that sentence, those words off. And let me explain a little bit why. Because since words, sentences, they have a specific energy, it affects us. And if we don't want to accept that or let that sort of vibration, because energy has a certain vibration, it's frequencies. And if we don't want that frequency and it doesn't gel with us, we're just going to want to get rid of that, get it out of our energetic space. And yes, we can just shake it off. It does work. So let's look at where the sentence might come from. So first of all, when we are young, and you're going to hear me say this over and over again, and so many other people too, when talking about trauma, anywhere between being in the womb and 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, those are the formative years. That is when we are absorbing everything. We're like a sponge and we don't question anything. We're just accepting how the world is and just imprinting, absorbing all of the information, the experiences, the feelings into our system. And because we're not questioning anything, we also absorb limiting beliefs, which is not great. But when we finally recognize later on in life, oh, that belief doesn't actually serve me, it doesn't help me, maybe it's even harmful, then we get to choose, hey, do I actually want to keep that belief, or would it be better to let that go? And maybe the saying, life is not fair, could be one of those beliefs, right? Have you heard your parents say that? Or maybe they just were carrying that sort of energy, like, that's just the way it is. Nothing we can do about it. Life's unfair. Life's just unfair. That's just how it is. Yeah? Can you see that that maybe feels very powerless? Do you feel empowered? Like, yeah, we can do it, capable? Or life's just unfair. Nothing we can do about it. It's a little bit disempowering, or it's very disempowering, to be quite honest. It's something where you just feel like there's nothing I can do about it. It just is what it is, and I'm just gonna stay small here. So whenever I hear this, I just think, well, where could this possibly have come from? And more than likely, it's from some experiences in our childhood, because when we're little kids, we are not exactly empowered. Especially looking at how previous generations grew up and so on, generational patterns of, do as I say, and children should be seen and not heard, and all of those sorts of things. And so when we hear life is unfair, we can see that, oh, maybe this is a belief that came from childhood, or it's an intergenerational thing, from their parents, grandparents, they all just have the same life is unfair because they felt very disempowered growing up. And this could be an example of when parents just say, just do it, or I said no, and they are just very forceful, and the little child is just like, oh, I don't have any say here, my opinion doesn't matter, I don't matter. Little children take everything very personally because that's just their worldview at that point. They think, oh, okay, everything's about them, which is fair enough. That's just how children are at that age. And so if they absorb that belief that, oh, okay, so I don't matter and things are just happening without me having any sort of ability to influence it, it's a very powerless feeling. And if you feel so disempowered and things are just happening without you being able to control anything, then you might experience some things where you think it's unfair, but you can't do anything about it. So you see, life is unfair. So then you just make that story, that negative belief, that limiting belief. And then it depends if you want to keep that story in you, or if you realize, oh, just a minute, I am now an adult. I don't need to believe I am a victim anymore. I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim. I get to empower myself. I get to now say, you know what? I choose to, whatever, X, Y, Z. So that I feel very capable. Yes, I can take control now. I'm not going to just sit back and say, oh, well, life is unfair. Nothing you can do about it. And just resign myself to whatever situation it might be. No, we get to stand up for ourselves. If we perceive something to be unjust, then we can speak up now. We can speak up and we can make choices. So this is just something where we get to choose. Okay, am I going to stay in the victim role where things just happen to me? Or can I say, well, you know what? I don't agree with this. Here's my opinion. And I'm going to change this. I'm going to change this and I'm going to make it happen. And I am determined and I'm capable and I get to choose. It's my life. I'm an adult. Right? We can change our world view, our world perspective, and as soon as we change our perspective, we change our world. It's pretty great, actually. So let's look at a situation. The economy is not good, there's a bunch of inflation, and now people are getting less money from work, even though it looks the same amount, but obviously with inflation, the income salary is not quite keeping up with the expenses. And so people might say, yeah, life is unfair. Life is unfair and there's nothing I can do about it. And then they're just going to resign themselves to, right, inflation. It's bigger than me, there's nothing I can do. So that could be person A, right? And then what will person A do? They won't change anything because they'll just say, you know what, subconsciously they'll be thinking, I'm a victim. That's subconscious. They will feel like a victim, and life has wronged them. The company has wronged them, the economy has wronged them, the world has wronged them, life is unfair, right? So that's person A. And then we can have person B noticing exactly the same conditions, maybe even in the same company. Yeah, maybe they are work colleagues. And they hear their person A, their colleague, saying life is unfair. And they say, yeah, this looks pretty unfair. And at the same time, I'm not just going to stand here and do nothing. I'm going to make a change because I'm not willing to put up with this situation. This is not good enough for me, right? And so they can make choices. They can say, okay, I'm going to move to another country where maybe there's better work opportunities, they make more money, and they have a better lifestyle, etc. So you see, that's just one of many, many choices that could be made to empower themselves to say, look, I can actually take charge of my life. I have a say here. I can control my experience to a certain degree. I get to make these choices. So it's an opportunity. That's pretty much what we can take away from this. Whenever we feel a little bit like, this doesn't feel so good anymore, this is a choice point. We can be like, okay, either we're just going to put up with it and tolerate it and feel like life is unfair, maybe complain a bit, or we can say, okay, this doesn't feel good for me anymore, I'm not willing to tolerate it, and I'm going to make changes. So there we go. That is my little ramble for today. I hope it's been entertaining, maybe inspiring. And if you did enjoy it, please like, subscribe, and have a beautiful day. I will see you soon. Bye.